All right. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me on another great episode of your favorite political talk show, The Truth with Ben Jokes. It's another Saturday in Nigeria, and you can just take a walk around the neighborhoods occupied by the average Nigerian, and you will feel the frustration. Many left their homes as early as 6:30 a.m. to work, and they are going to return late in the night on a supposed weekend. But at the end of the day, they will still not be able to make ends meet. That is the tragedy of the average Nigerian. That is the tragedy of the economy. Another tragedy is the insecurity ravaging our land. Late last night, I received a message from one of the social groups I belong to. We are crowdfunding for the release of one of our colleagues' daughter who was kidnapped. The criminals are asking for 10 million naira. I sent my contribution immediately, but only God knows if we will be able to meet their deadline. That is another life at stake. Imagine the pain. An hours ago, protests broke out in Osun State and Ibadan, Oyo State. Slowly, Nigerians are beginning to regroup to vent their frustration against the government. Just as the UK government predicted, in a short while, we are going to be seeing another national shutdown. Few days ago, women protested half naked in Ondo State. Police officers protested in Uyo yesterday. Ogun State market women also protested. And now, special protests have erupted in Osun State and Ibadan, Oyo State. And I call these protests special for two reasons. Number one, the personalities involved in the protest. And two, the protesters, while on the protest ground in Osun and Ibadan, received a shock that protesters anywhere in this country have never received. The shock came like an answer to their protest. And when you see this shock, even you will be shocked. Before I show you the details of this protest in Osun and Ibadan and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video. This interviewee was angrily responding to an APC chief who came on air asking Nigerians to be patient with the party. See the video.
Every day you tell us that things are going to get better. And in reality, we are sinking deeper. We are sinking deeper. And then you're not giving us any time frame. You're not telling us any timeline within which to expect changes. From May 2023 to date, Nigerians have sunk deeper. And I keep saying, the Nigerian naira today is one of the worst performing currencies on the surface of the earth. That's not what it is. As an adult, I paid 75 kobo to get a dollar in this country in the early 1980s, in the middle of the 1980s, before the introduction of the structural adjustment program. We were buying the dollar for 1 naira, less than 1 naira. But today, for God's sake, the dollar is going for over 1,500 naira. And you are saying, and the real income of Nigerians has not improved, has not increased. Nobody has earned. If you are earning 100,000 naira, 200,000 naira, that's the same amount you are earning. So if you earn 200,000 naira in May 2023 and you're earning 300,000 naira today in August 2024, it means that your purchasing power has substantially collapsed. It has reduced to the extent that you are unable to meet the basic expectation that you are able to meet in 2023. So this is the question. This is the reality. This is the truth that those who are in positions of power today should realize. So it is not about a vote of confidence by a governor's forum or by the Council of State. It is about the vote of confidence that the Nigerian people have.
You heard that. And for me, a vote of confidence from Buhari is a clear indication that Tinubu will end up like Buhari. As a matter of fact, he will be worse because he's already worse. And some of these guys who go on air defending APC, they are the first people that the masses will start beating up even before getting to politicians. I know they are paid to do that job, but they should know that the job they are doing is very risky. People are suffering. You are collecting money to go and be defending. The worst argument anyone can put up for the APC is to ask Nigerians to be patient with them. Some will say Tinubu has just spent 1 year in office. And for your information, it's almost 1 year, 3 months now. And for God's sake, this was the same argument you made for Buhari. You kept asking Nigerians to be patient with Buhari until he totally messed up the economy. Today, many Tinubu supporters are now blaming the same Buhari that they asked for more time for. And Tinubu said he was going to continue from where Buhari stopped. You guys said it was just rhetorics. But now you have clearly seen him continuing from where Buhari stopped, and you are still asking for more time. It means you have not repented, and you guys are the first set of guys that the masses will pounce on. It's already happening in some parts of the country. During the End Bad Governance protest, Kannywood stars who were paid to promote APC, including musician Dauda Rarara, were attacked by protesters to the point that they fled the state to Abuja. I showed you a video some months ago. In that video, a woman said she was harassed in the market in Abeokuta after she was identified as one of those who campaigned for Tinubu. Don't worry, as the hunger and poverty continues, one day someone will be vomiting trash in a studio and hungry boys will enter the studio and beat the hell out of him. They will show him shege. That time will come. And when it does, just acknowledge that Benjuk said it first. Now, let us look at those protests in Osun and Ibadan. And you have to follow me carefully on this because during the protest, something happened that you all must see. First of all, let's take the protest as it happened in Osun State. Abduction. Resident doctors protest prolonged colleagues' abduction. The National Association of Resident Doctors (NAD), Osun State University, Uni Osun Teaching Hospital chapter, have staged a peaceful protest to demand the unconditional release of their colleague, Dr. Ganiyat Popola. The doctors who trooped out en masse on Friday said the protest is in solidarity with their colleague, Dr. Popola, who was abducted on December 27, 2023 at her residence in Kaduna town. Daily Post gathered that Dr. Ganiyat Popola, a registrar in the Department of Ophthalmology of the National Eye Center, Kaduna, was abducted on December 27, 2023, along with her husband and nephew. Our demands as the Association of Medical Doctors of Osun State University Teaching Hospital is to join all other Nigerian doctors to call for the immediate and unconditional release of Dr. Ganiyat and her nephew and reunite them with their immediate family. Our demand is simple. In a book, they said all animals are equal, but we know some are more equal than others. I just imagine if it were to be the daughter, wife, or sister of any of the leaders at the helm of affairs that has been incarcerated for these past 7 months, would she still be there in captivity? I think this is a country where we advocate equal rights. We need the federal government to stand up for the rights of Dr. Ganiyat Popola, who has been incarcerated for the past 7 months, and let her be released immediately. Failure to release Dr. Ganiyat come August 26, all the doctors in this country will have to down tools until Dr. Ganiyat is released, he said. Now, that was in Osun State, and the spokesperson for the resident doctors was saying if Dr. Ganiyat Popola is not released by August 26, all the doctors in Nigeria will go on strike. And while they were on the protest ground, something happened. But before I show you, let's take a part of that protest as it happened in Ibadan, Oyo State. UCH doctors protest, demand release of abducted colleague after 7 months in captivity. Resident doctors at University College Hospital, Ibadan, on Friday staged a peaceful protest to demand the immediate release of their colleague, Ganiyat Popola, and her nephew, Abdul Mugni Folaranmi. The National Association of Resident Doctors had threatened to embark on a nationwide strike if their abducted colleague was not released August 26. The UCH resident doctors carried placards with various inscriptions such as 7 months and counting in captivity is unacceptable. It is not a crime to be a doctor, and hashtag bring back our Dr. Ganiyat now, among others. They threatened that the association might be forced to embark on strike if the government failed to secure Mrs. Popola's release within 1 week. You saw that. Now, that was the protest in Ibadan, and it was happening concurrently with the protest in Osun State, and I believed it happened in several other states too. Resident doctors were protesting, asking for the release of Ganiyat Popola. But while they were asking for that release on the ground of the protest, this news broke out. Check it out. Breaking: over 20 Nigerian medical and dental students en route convention kidnapped in Benue. Over 20 medical and dental students and a house officer were kidnapped in Benue State while en route to the Federation of Catholic Medical and Dental Students Annual Convention in Enugu. The students from the University of Maiduguri and University of Jos were traveling together when they were ambushed by gunmen around 5:30 p.m. in the Otukpo area of Benue State. Meanwhile, one of the victims has been identified as a house officer named Dr. Lewis. An X account that reports issues in the medical field at Nigerian_doctor, who also shared the information, appealed to security agencies for urgent intervention to rescue the students and free the families from trauma. It wrote, a house officer, Dr. Luis, and 20 plus medical and dental students have reportedly been kidnapped. These students from University of Maiduguri and University of Jos were traveling for their Federation of Catholic Medical and Dental Students Annual Convention in Enugu. They were reportedly abducted somewhere in Benue State, not far from Otukpo, judging by their last known location. We plead for your urgent intervention. Confirming the incident to reporters, the spokesperson for the Benue State Police Command, SP Catherine Anene, said investigation had been launched into the abduction. Yes, the report of kidnapping is true. The report was received from 5:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. and investigation is ongoing. What a sad situation. What a pathetic situation. On Friday, protests were being held in Osun State and in Ibadan, Oyo State for the release of Dr. Ganiat Popola, who was kidnapped in December 2023. And while they were on the protest ground, a house officer, Dr. Luis, and 20 plus incoming doctors were kidnapped around Otukpo in Benue State. So the doctors said they are going to go on strike on August 26 if Dr. Gania Popola is not released. Now they have kidnapped 20 others. What are they going to do? This is what we are trying to point out, that the solution is not with the APC. The solution is in kicking them out. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. And this tweet here by Daily Justice says, and the illusionist in charge of the health ministry just announced a fake plan to pull the ones who had left Nigeria back to this contraption. The contraption is irredeemable. All reasonable doctors in Nigeria must find their way out of the contraption immediately in their best interest. So if all of them come out, who go come they treat us when we sick? And this tweet here by the Wavy creator says, oh my God, nowhere is safe in this country again. And we have a president and 35 governors. And Catchy here says, let me tell you, if you are traveling on our roads, be prepared for anything because security is zero. I'm telling you, even the ones on the road, all they do is to collect 100 naira from the drivers. To be collecting and collecting. This rot has reached an unprecedented level. God, this country is in soup. And this tweet by God, he says, news like this have been in our headlines for about 9 years, and we want an international court to take us seriously as a nation. We are just joking. I'm telling you. And the warrior here says, only in a failed state this happens and won't make it to the national news, let alone international. This is supposed to be everywhere. This is supposed to be the headline news, but look at it. It's being shrouded in secrecy. And this tweet here by Shola of Jaw says, my brother is among them. His only crime was to be a Nigerian medical student. To hell with the federal government and all who swore to protect us with taxpayers' money. You know, if it has not happened to you, if it has not touched you, you will not know what it means to be living in this country. It is so painful. This guy said his brother is one of them. That whole family has been thrown into confusion as we speak, just like my colleague whose daughter was kidnapped. This is the pain, the ordeal of the average Nigerian. And we are saying we need to come together and rescue this country, because this is where we live, unless you plan to leave and never return. But to be living in Nigeria and still view everything through tribal and religious lenses, it means you are crazy upstairs. Nigerians would have to jettison those aboriginal sentiments, come together and take their country back. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una na I dey here. So don't go away. Don't go away.